A new House subcommittee is at work investigating the alleged weaponization of the federal government. NTD's Steve Lance spoke with Congressman Byron Donalds of Florida to learn more.
Congressman Byron Donalds, thank you so much for joining us again.
Good to be with you. Good to be back with you, actually.
Absolutely, always. Congressman, I want to ask you about our government agencies. Right now, you have the House GOP launching multiple investigations, multiple hearings, specifically when it comes to the weaponization of the Department of Justice. If you could, where is this all going to go from your perspective?
Well, look, a couple things. What we've always committed to is that we're going to investigate every section of the federal government that warrants it. Accountability is here. Now, what the next steps are, that the evidence is going to have to take that. I know we have people who say they want to move forward with impeachments. They want to get this person or get that person. Well, the truth is the Democrats picked a target no matter what the evidence said, and they just did everything in their power to try to go after Trump. That's what they did. And that's really negative to the country. It's detrimental to the country. We want the facts to speak for themselves. So at the Department of Justice, how was the orders given to target parents just trying to advocate for their children's schooling? What about people who are pro-life advocates who are using their First Amendment rights to assemble and to speak? Why are they being targeted and people being brought up on charges? And then, of course, the thing that we should never forget about, what about the handling of January 6 detainees, people who were held at the D.C. jail for significantly long periods of time without charges when they had no criminal records prior to, could have easily been sent home for charges to be filed and then been given their day in court like virtually any other citizen would be. These are the things that we are going to get to the bottom of with the Department of Justice, and there's other agencies we have to look at as well.
Speaking of the January 6th footage, Speaker McCarthy has decided to release, when people hear release, he hasn't physically released anything to Tucker Carlson, but he's allowed him to review, and then it will be approved as to whether or not that footage is classified or poses any threat to the public. A lot of people don't hear this, but have you heard anything about the footage specifically, certain things that might be in there that tell or paint a different picture?
Well, no, I haven't a chance to sit down and watch all the footage. Really, nobody has. You have to really have a team that goes through all this. The number one thing that the Speaker is committed is to make sure that there aren't any security aspects that are revealed in the footage. I think that's pretty clear. One thing to take note, the January 6th committee revealed a lot of things about Capitol security with respect to Mike Pence's route through the Capitol on that day. January 6th committee revealed that. But we're going to go through the process with the Capitol Police to make sure that sensitive areas are not revealed to the public, because those are security matters. But everything else, from my conversations with the Speaker, all that footage will be released. Tucker Carlson, you're correct, and Fox News had an ability to look at it first, but it's going to be released to everybody.
Congressman, back to the administrative state that some people refer to it as, the weaponization of the Department of Justice. I think a lot of Americans still want to believe and have faith in some of these agencies, but how important is it to remember, on top of all of these agencies, you have political appointees?
No, it's key. The agencies are being driven by the appointees. I'm on financial services, one of my new committees. Well, right now at the SEC, we have Gary Gensler, who in my opinion is just run amok. He's using every possible window to expand the reach and the scope of the SEC, well past legislative prerogative, well past legislative intent. So this is what's happening at most of the agencies at the federal level. So we have a responsibility to dig through every one of them. But it's going to be tough for the next 2 years, because you're correct, they are political appointees. Let's take Alejandro Mayorkas. I know many of my colleagues, and frankly many citizens, want to see him impeached. Okay, so he leaves. Who comes in next? Are they just going to continue the same orders that Joe Biden has put out? This is the issue that we have. This is why elections matter, especially the one coming up in a little under 2 years. It matters because those are the people that are going to sit at the head of these different agencies. They're the ones who are either going to, A, do their job following the law and the Constitution, or what we have seen under Joe Biden, they're basically going to expand their powers to areas that they were never contemplated, never given authority, and they're going to play catch me if you can, essentially, with the American people's liberties, and see me in court if you can find a way to get me. That's the way they've been operating. We need to put a stop to it.
Congressman Byron Donalds, thank you so much.
Absolutely.